Welcome to the History AI podcast, where the past comes alive with facts, anecdotes, and a dash of humor. Here are your hosts, Chuck and Marco.
Welcome back, history buffs, to another episode of the History AI podcast. I'm Chuck.
And I'm Marco. Today, we're diving into the life and times of Rechtaid Rigderg, a legendary figure in ancient Irish history.
Before we get started, it's important to note that the details of Rechtaid's life are difficult to pin down. Much of what we know about him comes from folklore, legends, and oral traditions, which often contain contradictory claims and embellishments. Piecing together a realistic account requires sifting through these diverse sources to uncover the most plausible narrative.
That's right, Chuck. While it's challenging to separate fact from fiction, the stories and legends surrounding Rechtaid Rigderg provide a fascinating glimpse into the culture and values of ancient Ireland. So, let's dive in and explore the life of this enigmatic king. So, Chuck, what was happening in the world during Rechtaid's time?
Rechtaid Rigderg is believed to have lived during the 2nd century BC, a period of significant historical events and developments across the globe. Let's start with ancient Ireland, where Rechtaid's story unfolds. Ireland at this time was a land of numerous tribal kingdoms, each ruled by local chieftains or kings. These small kingdoms often competed for power, territory, and resources, leading to frequent skirmishes and alliances.
It's fascinating to think about how these different civilizations were developing concurrently, yet so separately. Ireland had its unique system of kingship and clans that was quite different from the centralized empires elsewhere.
Absolutely. Ireland was a patchwork of small, competing kingdoms, each with its own traditions and rulers. This environment was ripe for powerful leaders like Rechtaid Rigderg to rise and make a mark. Meanwhile, across the Irish Sea, Britain was also a land of tribal societies, albeit with some contact with the broader European continent. The Celtic culture was predominant, marked by rich traditions in art, warfare, and spirituality. These cultures, though distinct from the Romans or Greeks, were advanced in their own right, with complex social structures and impressive craftsmanship.
And speaking of the Romans, what was going on in their neck of the woods?
The Roman Republic was in a period of significant expansion during the 2nd century BC. By the middle of this century, Rome had solidified its dominance over the Mediterranean, having defeated Carthage in the Punic Wars. The Battle of Zama in 202 BC marked the end of the Second Punic War, resulting in Roman supremacy in the western Mediterranean.
Rome's expansion had a profound impact on the regions they conquered, didn't it?
Indeed it did. The Romans were masters of administration, engineering, and military strategy. Their influence extended from Spain in the west to Greece and parts of Asia Minor in the east. The Hellenistic world was also undergoing transformations. After Alexander the Great's empire fragmented, his successors, known as the Diadochi, continued to vie for control over various territories.
How about in the east? What was happening in Asia?
In Asia, the Han dynasty was flourishing in China. Founded by Liu Bang in 202 BC, the Han dynasty saw the consolidation of the central government, expansion of territories, and advancements in technology, culture, and trade. The Silk Road began to take shape during this period, facilitating trade between China and the West.
The Silk Road was crucial for cultural and economic exchanges, wasn't it?
Absolutely. It connected the East and the West, allowing not just goods, but also ideas, religions, and technologies to flow between different civilizations. This trade route would later become one of the most significant conduits for cultural exchange in human history.
What about the Indian subcontinent?
In India, the Maurya Empire, which had been one of the largest and most powerful empires in the world, was in its declining phase. By the mid-2nd century BC, the Maurya Empire had been replaced by the Shunga dynasty, following the assassination of the last Mauryan emperor. This period saw a resurgence of Hinduism and the continuation of trade and cultural exchange with other regions.
And in the Americas?
Across the Atlantic, in the Americas, several advanced civilizations were thriving. In Mesoamerica, the Mayan civilization was in its pre-classic period, characterized by the development of city-states, impressive architectural achievements, and a complex calendar system. Similarly, in South America, the Chavan culture in Peru was influential, known for its distinctive art and religious practices.
It's incredible to think about how much was happening simultaneously around the world during Rechtaid's time. All these different cultures and civilizations, each with their unique developments and contributions to human history.
Absolutely, Marco. While Rechtaid Rigderg's story is rooted in the local context of ancient Ireland, understanding the global backdrop provides a richer perspective on the interconnectedness of human societies, even in antiquity.
Let's talk about Rechtaid's family. What do we know about his origins?
Rechtaid Rigderg, also known as the Red King, was born into the Uigeanachta dynasty, a powerful and influential family in Munster, one of the ancient provinces of Ireland. The Uigeanachta dynasty claimed descent from Eogan Mór, a legendary figure whose lineage was considered semi-divine. This prestigious heritage provided Rechtaid with a significant advantage from birth, as his family was deeply respected and wielded considerable influence in the region.
Having a strong family background would certainly help in his rise to power.
No doubt. Rechtaid's father, Conall Cork, was a renowned warrior and chieftain. Conall's reputation as a formidable leader and strategist was well known, and he ensured that his son received an education befitting a future king. This included training in martial skills, governance, and the intricate art of diplomacy. Rechtaid's mother, Derbforgil, came from another noble family, the Connachta, further solidifying the political alliances and strength of Rechtaid's lineage.
Rechtaid must have had a unique upbringing, combining both martial and scholarly education.
Absolutely. From a young age, Rechtaid was immersed in the traditions and responsibilities of leadership. He was trained by the best warriors and druids in the kingdom. The druids, who were not just priests but also keepers of knowledge and law, played a crucial role in his education. They taught him about the laws, the customs, and the histories of the people, as well as the mystical and spiritual practices that were central to the Celtic world.
Growing up in such an environment must have had a significant impact on his character and ambitions.
It certainly did. Rechtaid was known for his intelligence, charisma, and a strong sense of justice, which earned him the loyalty and respect of his peers. His upbringing in the Uigeanachta court provided him with first-hand experience in governance and politics. He observed his father's rule and learned the importance of strategic alliances, both within his kingdom and with neighboring clans.
Were there any significant events or challenges in his early life that shaped his path to kingship?
Yes, there were several. One of the most pivotal moments was the internal strife within the Uigeanachta dynasty. Factions within the family often vied for power, leading to tensions and conflicts. Rechtaid's ability to navigate these internal disputes and emerge as a unifying figure demonstrated his political acumen and leadership qualities.
That sounds like it would have been a tough proving ground for a young leader.
Indeed. Additionally, Rechtaid's early encounters with rival kingdoms also played a significant role. He participated in numerous skirmishes and battles, gaining a reputation as a fearless and skilled warrior. These experiences not only solidified his military prowess but also helped him forge alliances through displays of strength and honor on the battlefield.
So, by the time he was ready to take on a leadership role, he was already a seasoned warrior and diplomat.
Exactly. Rechtaid's combination of noble birth, rigorous training, and practical experience in both warfare and governance set the stage for his rise to power. His early life was a testament to the importance of preparation and resilience in the face of challenges, traits that would define his reign as one of the most respected and influential kings of ancient Ireland.
So, how did Rechtaid Rigderg rise to power?
Rechtaid's rise to power was a combination of strategic brilliance, military prowess, and shrewd political maneuvering. His journey to kingship was neither straightforward nor guaranteed, as he had to navigate a landscape filled with rival chieftains and competing factions.
Let's dive into the details. What were the key steps in his ascent to power?
Rechtaid's path to power began with his military achievements. As a young warrior, he quickly established a reputation for his combat skills and leadership on the battlefield. His first significant victory came when he successfully defended his family's territory against an invading force from a neighboring kingdom. This victory not only demonstrated his martial abilities but also his capacity to inspire and lead men in battle.
That must have boosted his standing among his peers and the people.
Absolutely. But Rechtaid knew that military might alone wouldn't secure his position. He also focused on building alliances through marriage and diplomacy. One of his most strategic moves was his marriage to a princess from the Deesai, a powerful clan in southern Ireland. This alliance brought additional troops and resources to his side, further strengthening his position.
How did he handle the internal dynamics within his own clan?
Rechtaid had to be very astute in managing internal clan politics. The Eganacta dynasty, like many noble families, had its share of internal rivalries. Rechtaid utilized a combination of diplomacy and calculated shows of strength to quell dissent and unify his supporters. He held councils to address grievances and distributed land and titles to key allies to secure their loyalty.
What about his relationships with other kingdoms and chieftains in Ireland?
Rechtaid was adept at forging strategic alliances with other kingdoms. He understood the importance of cooperation and mutual benefit. Through a series of diplomatic missions, he negotiated treaties and alliances with several neighboring chieftains. These agreements often involved mutual defense pacts and trade arrangements, which helped to stabilize the region and build a network of allies.
Were there any significant battles or conflicts that marked his rise to power?
Yes, there were several key battles that solidified Rechtaid's dominance. One of the most notable was the Battle of Knockane, where Rechtaid faced a coalition of rival chieftains who sought to challenge his claim to leadership. Despite being outnumbered, Rechtaid's superior tactics and the loyalty of his warriors led to a decisive victory. This battle was pivotal as it not only eliminated several key rivals but also demonstrated his ability to maintain control and command respect across the region.
It's clear that Rechtaid was both a formidable warrior and a savvy politician.
Indeed. Another significant aspect of his rise to power was his engagement with the Druidic order. The Druids held significant influence over the Celtic people, serving as religious leaders, judges, and advisors. Rechtaid fostered strong relationships with the Druids, seeking their counsel and support. This alliance bolstered his legitimacy and helped to consolidate his rule.
How did he manage to maintain his power after gaining it?
Once he established his rule, Rechtaid focused on strengthening his kingdom's infrastructure and governance. He implemented legal reforms to ensure justice and stability, earning the nickname Rigderg, meaning Red King, symbolizing his role as a fair and just ruler. He also encouraged the development of trade and agriculture, which improved the prosperity of his kingdom and secured the loyalty of his subjects.
So, Rechtaid's rise to power was a mix of military success, strategic alliances, and effective governance.
Exactly. His ability to navigate the complexities of internal and external politics, combined with his military acumen, enabled him to rise to power and maintain a stable and prosperous kingdom. Rechtaid Rigderg's ascent to kingship is a testament to his exceptional leadership and enduring legacy in Irish history.
Now that Rechtaid Rigderg has ascended to power, let's delve into his reign. What were some of the key aspects of his rule?
Rechtaid Rigderg's reign was a period of significant transformation and consolidation in Munster. His rule was marked by a combination of military expansion, legal reform, economic development, and cultural patronage. Each of these elements played a crucial role in shaping his legacy as one of Ireland's most effective and influential kings.
Let's start with his military campaigns. How did Rechtaid expand his kingdom?
Rechtaid was a strategic and aggressive leader on the battlefield. His military campaigns were aimed at unifying the fragmented territories of Munster under his rule. He launched a series of calculated offensives against neighboring chieftains who refused to acknowledge his authority. One of the most significant campaigns was against the Kingdom of Rechtaid. This campaign not only expanded his territory but also sent a clear message to other potential rivals about the strength and reach of his power.
And his approach to legal reforms? What changes did he implement?
Rechtaid's legal reforms were among his most notable achievements. Recognizing the need for a cohesive legal framework to govern his expanding kingdom, he initiated a comprehensive review and codification of existing laws and customs. He worked closely with Druids and legal scholars to create a system that balanced traditional customs with the practical needs of a unified state. His reforms addressed issues such as land ownership, inheritance, and criminal justice, promoting fairness and stability.
It's interesting how he balanced tradition with innovation. How did these reforms impact his kingdom?
The legal reforms brought a sense of order and predictability to the kingdom. By codifying the laws, Rechtaid ensured that justice was administered consistently, reducing conflicts and grievances among his subjects. This stability fostered economic growth, as people felt more secure in their property and transactions. Trade flourished, both within Munster and with neighboring regions, leading to increased prosperity.
Speaking of economic growth, what were some of the key economic policies or projects he undertook?
Rechtaid recognized that a strong economy was essential for a stable and prosperous kingdom. He encouraged agricultural development by providing incentives for farmers to cultivate new lands and improve their techniques. He also invested in infrastructure, such as roads and fortifications, to facilitate trade and enhance security. Additionally, he promoted the development of crafts and industries, supporting artisans and merchants in producing goods for both local use and export.
It sounds like Rechtaid was a forward-thinking ruler. How did he support cultural and religious activities?
Rechtaid was a patron of the arts and a supporter of cultural and religious activities. He understood the importance of culture in unifying his people and fostering a sense of identity. He sponsored poets, bards, and craftsmen, encouraging the production of literature, music, and art that celebrated the kingdom's heritage and achievements. His support extended to religious institutions as well. He maintained strong ties with the Druids, who played a vital role in both spiritual and temporal matters, ensuring that their influence helped legitimize his rule.
And how did he handle relationships with other kingdoms and foreign powers?
Diplomacy was a key aspect of Rechtaid's reign. He maintained a network of alliances with other Irish kingdoms and fostered relations with foreign powers through marriage, treaties, and trade agreements. These diplomatic efforts helped to secure his kingdom against external threats and ensured a steady flow of goods and ideas. Rechtaid's ability to balance warfare with diplomacy was instrumental in maintaining the stability and growth of his kingdom.
Were there any significant challenges or threats during his reign?
Like any ruler, Rechtaid faced challenges and threats. Internal dissent from rival factions and external pressure from ambitious neighboring chieftains were constant concerns. However, his military strength, combined with his diplomatic skills and legal reforms, enabled him to address these challenges effectively. One notable challenge was a rebellion led by a coalition of disaffected nobles. Rechtaid's decisive action in quelling the rebellion not only reaffirmed his authority but also demonstrated his commitment to maintaining order and justice.
It's clear that Rechtaid's reign was characterized by strong leadership and significant achievements. How did his subjects view him?
Rechtaid was generally well regarded by his subjects. His efforts to ensure justice, promote economic prosperity, and support cultural activities earned him the respect and loyalty of his people. While not everyone was happy with his rule, particularly those whose power he curtailed, the overall stability and growth of the kingdom under his leadership solidified his reputation as a fair and capable king.
Rechtaid Rigderg's reign truly set a high standard for future leaders. His blend of military prowess, legal innovation, economic foresight, and cultural patronage made a lasting impact on Munster and beyond. So Chuck, we've covered Rechtaid Rigderg's rise to power and his reign. Let's now explore why he's considered such an important figure in Irish history and what his legacy entails. And, of course, we should discuss the circumstances of his death and his lasting impact on the region.
Rechtaid Rigderg's importance in Irish history cannot be overstated. He was more than just a king, he was a unifier, a reformer, and a patron of culture. His reign marked a significant shift in the way kingdoms in Ireland were governed and how laws were implemented. His legal reforms, military campaigns, and diplomatic efforts left a lasting imprint on Munster and the surrounding regions.
Let's delve into his contributions to the legal system first. What made his reforms so significant?
Rechtaid's legal reforms were revolutionary for their time. Before his reign, Irish laws were primarily based on oral tradition and varied significantly from one tribe to another. By codifying these laws, Rechtaid created a more unified and consistent legal framework. This not only reduced conflicts and confusion but also laid the foundation for future legal systems in Ireland. His laws covered various aspects of daily life, from land ownership and inheritance to criminal justice and trade regulations.
And these reforms helped stabilize and grow his kingdom?
Exactly. The stability provided by these legal reforms allowed for greater economic development. With clear laws and regulations, merchants and farmers could engage in trade and agriculture with confidence, knowing that their rights and properties were protected. This led to increased prosperity and growth, further cementing Rechtaid's reputation as a wise and just ruler.
What about his cultural contributions? How did Rechtaid influence the arts and religion?
Rechtaid was a great patron of the arts. He understood that cultural achievements could unify his people and enhance his kingdom's prestige. He sponsored poets, bards, and artisans, encouraging the creation of literature, music, and artwork that celebrated the history and achievements of his reign. This patronage helped to preserve and enrich Irish cultural heritage. In terms of religion, Rechtaid maintained strong ties with the Druids. He supported their role as spiritual leaders and advisors, which helped to legitimize his rule and integrate spiritual guidance with governance. His respect for Druidic traditions and support for their institutions ensured that religion remained a cohesive force within his kingdom.
Let's talk about his death. How did Rechtaid Rigderg's life come to an end?
The details of Rechtaid Rigderg's death are somewhat murky, with different sources offering varying accounts. Some legends suggest he died in battle, defending his kingdom from an invading force. Some that he was murdered, and other accounts indicate he passed away peacefully in his old age, having secured the future of his realm. Regardless of the exact circumstances, his death marked the end of an era.
How did his death impact the kingdom and his legacy?
Rechtaid's death was a significant moment for Munster and Ireland as a whole. His passing created a power vacuum that initially led to some instability, as various factions vied for control. However, the foundations he laid during his reign, strong legal systems, economic prosperity, and cultural unity, provided a framework that helped his successors maintain stability and continue his legacy.
What lasting impacts did Rechtaid Rigderg have on Ireland?
Rechtaid's lasting impact is evident in several areas. His legal reforms influenced the development of Irish law for generations, providing a model that future rulers would build upon. The prosperity and stability he brought to Munster set a precedent for what a well-governed kingdom could achieve. His support for the arts and culture helped preserve and enrich Irish heritage, making it an integral part of the national identity. Moreover, his military and diplomatic strategies demonstrated the importance of a balanced approach to leadership, one that combined strength with wisdom and power with justice. These principles resonated through subsequent generations of Irish leaders, shaping the political landscape of Ireland long after his death.
It's clear that Rechtaid Rigderg's legacy was profound and multifaceted. His contributions to law, culture, and governance left an indelible mark on Ireland, influencing not just his immediate successors but the broader course of Irish history.
Absolutely. Rechtaid Rigderg's life and reign remind us of the enduring power of visionary leadership. His ability to unite, reform, and inspire set a high standard for those who followed. His legacy is a testament to the impact one leader can have on a nation, resonating through the ages as a beacon of justice, prosperity, and cultural pride.
That wraps up our episode on Rechtaid Rigderg. We hope you enjoyed this dive into his life and times.
Before we go, we want to give a special thank you to all our listeners. Your support means the world to us. Please remember to rate, subscribe, and share the History AI podcast.
A 5-star review helps us reach more people and continue to grow. And don't forget, you can suggest topics through our social media channels.
And guess what? We now have merchandise available. Check the link in the show notes to get your History AI podcast gear.
Also, remember that every episode of the History AI podcast is evergreen, so you can go back and listen to any episode anytime.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Chuck.
And I'm Marco. We'll see you next time on the History AI podcast.
Discover the dark, enchanting world of shadowed journeys, the tales of Jordan and Squishy. Follow Jordan, a seemingly innocent girl with a hidden power, and her loyal companion Squishy, who reincarnates into different animals after each battle. Venture into the ominous depths of the Whispering Woods as they face fierce creatures and uncover ancient secrets. Will Jordan succumb to the darkness within, or will she find the strength to forge a new destiny? Perfect for fans of dark fantasy and epic quests, this spellbinding tale will captivate and leave you pondering the fine line between hero and villain. Dive into Shadowed Journeys today. Available on Amazon now.